my God, I know. My eye hurts.
Everything on me is just so utterly exhausted.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. Here's my DJ voice. Welcome to The Ugly Truth. I'm Jamie, and this is my sister Stephanie.
Hello.
So Daryl and I went out to dinner with some friends last night, Greg and Glenn.
Oh.
And we went to the kitchen, which we hadn't.
Nice.
It's been a year, but we got reservations. It's hard to get in. We're like, yeah, let's do it. So we were all celebrating our anniversary together.
Oh, wonderful.
Basically,
Yeah,
you know, because
fun.
ours is in a minute, but theirs just happened. So it was kind of like an in-between. Cool. So we're like, yeah, let's do it.
They've been married forever too, right?
27 years.
Yeah. Oh my God. How weird.
Ah, so that's why we did it. We're like, oh, this is great. We should do it.
Nice.
Anyway.
I think the last time
Had
you
so much
went
fun.
there, you didn't have the greatest experience because it wasn't that where the rude, obnoxious man was. That was drunk with money.
That was Localis.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, and that was
okay.
He
Not
was
the same.
like, you know, the chef is my personal friend, and we're like, big whoop.
Like, shut up.
No one cares.
Yeah. Okay.
Did
Wrong.
you know,
wrong place.
Come. I have a private plane. I'll fly you to my winery, and I'm like, oh my God, I hate you.
Oh, everybody hates you.
I don't like you, and I don't care that you're rich.
No one does.
No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares about your dumb plane.
I know. It's funny that people that. Well, it's usually new money people who think that, but
he was very old, but he could have been
new money. New money.
His 30-year-old wife was thrilled.
Was she, or are you being sarcastic?
No, she was 30, and she's like, honey.
Was she embarrassed?
No, not
I would
really.
have been humiliated.
Nope.
Oh my God.
She didn't care.
I would have been in the bathroom for a really long time.
Nope. She was all in.
Oh my
She was
God.
all in.
Okay.
And I'm sure his children from his actual marriage were like, Dad, really? I mean, I'm creating
just
a
make
full
sure. No,
backstory.
I know. But I hear you. It's like I hope that money's in a trust.
And what was funny is, so he's drunkenly trying to convince the owner of the restaurant to come to this event that they're having somewhere that he's going to. He's like, "Hun, you can come with me and my wife. It'll be great. Bring your wife. We'll go." And he's like trying to be nice because I think he was an investor or something in the restaurant.
Could have been.
And that's why he was feeling so privileged to speak over 40 other people that were in the restaurant trying to have a meal.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, you know what? I'll have to look at my calendar, but it probably sounds like we can do it, knowing this guy won't remember a thing.
Right. He's like, let me just get out of this and not look like an asshole.
I just couldn't. And so my daughter, Mackenzie, was saying, Mom, just give it another chance. Just go back. Give it another chance. It could have just been because I even said that. I'm like, I'm sure the food was delicious. Totally don't remember a thing.
Because all you can think about was this asshole.
He was literally sitting behind me the whole time.
Ugh.
So it was like really, I mean, to the point where I turned to Daryl and I said, I'm going to hit an old man. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And he's like, please. Don't do it. I'm like, he's like, I'd like to come back here. I'm like, do you though?
Like, do we really care?
Do we care
it's
that
not
much?
that fucking fantastic, especially if they're like this dickhead that ruined the whole night.
Anyway,
So you went to the kitchen.
we did. We had a great time.
Good.
The
I'm
food
so
was
happy.
delicious. The
Completely different
atmosphere-
menu, I imagine.
Yeah, they change it every season because of whatever local.
And I think
food.
this was only your second time at the kitchen, right?
Yes.
So that was
It was really
fun.
nice, but the service is what was so great. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
food is good everywhere. You can go to freaking a Mexican restaurant that's owned by. It doesn't matter if the food is good, it's great, but the service changes everything.
It really does.
You could be at a McDonald's and have a great service and go, you know what? That was a really good hamburger. You know what I mean? Like it makes food taste better for some reason.
I agree. Or you just don't care about the flaws of everything else if you have great service.
Yeah, you're more forgiving.
Yeah, way.
So
I
the
mean,
service was exceptional. I really liked it, and so I did
glad.
love it.
How
but
exciting.
with that being said, I'm very tired today.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm glad we're doing it. Obviously, I haven't seen you in a minute, so I'm glad you're here. But I definitely could use it.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Did you have fish?
We had halibut.
I knew it. I just knew it. Because well, you remind me of my friend who not every time, but oftentimes when we go out or when she goes out with her husband, she always has salmon.
Oh.
And it's like her thing. And so I'm like, I never realized my sister was a white fish eater until like
halibut.
several years ago.
Yeah.
And then I started to notice, I'm like, no, she really does love it. Like
I love it.
Like it's
it
her
tastes
thing.
so good.
So I love it too, but
Yeah.
everybody's kind of partial to something when you're splurging and you're going out, and you're like,
It's
you know
true.
what? If they have this on the menu, I'm absolutely getting it.
I have never had a bad piece of halibut
So yeah,
ever.
So,
It's just so freaking good.
Did Jerry? Did Daryl get the same thing?
Well, it's a price
Oh,
fix
it's a
menu.
right.
So you get
Whatever.
I think we got like 5 or 6 dishes.
Okay, got
so you
it.
start with the light and you work your way to the which is a piece of meat. A
Always.
steak. It was all amazing.
Yeah.
It was all good.
But you were really happy that they had some halibut on the menu.
Yeah, and what's cool about the kitchen is that they're like, you literally own the restaurant tonight. If you're not full at the end of the night, we will make you everything again if you want.
Right.
You can ask for seconds, thirds. We don't care. We are here until you walk out the door.
Wow.
And so we did order a second piece of halibut.
Oh, because it was so good.
It was so good. And because everything's really small portions,
yeah,
obviously.
of course. Yeah.
Honestly, I was full, but
it was
knew
just so good.
it was so good.
You're like, it was so good. I
really want another one. And and they're like, you got it. And they were all cleaning up. And I said, is it too late to order more halibut? She goes, it is never too late to order more halibut. And they went and got us halibut.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. It was really fun.
I love it.
Yeah, it was great. And you wish that you could eat more,
but you can't.
You just can't. Yeah. You just can't. Anyway, so this happened a while ago, but like a lot of people, I go through phases where I don't feel my best. And so I'll rot in my bed and watch shitty television. And I was having a particularly difficult couple of days. I don't even know why. I don't even remember.
It doesn't have to have a reason. We all go through it.
So I had not, it was a hair washing day, but I hadn't done it yet. And it was probably like, I don't know, 2:00 in the afternoon.
You're like, I can't keep putting this off.
Yeah. And I was sitting there going, okay, I'm definitely going to take a shower today. I'm definitely going to wash my hair today. I have to do it. I can't have greasy hair for long, but
I hear you.
I knew I looked greasy and I didn't have makeup on. So I did not look great. So I was sitting there and I was in my room and I was watching Bob's Burgers or something. And Daryl comes in and he's like, hey, he looks at me, he goes, oh, did you take a shower?
Because he thought your hair was wet.
And I said, no, my hair's just real greasy. What are you trying to say? And he goes, no, nothing.
He's like, I'm not saying a thing.
No, nothing. I go, I get it.
I need to shower.
So I'm like, but my face when he goes, oh, did you take a shower? And I looked at him with my narrow eyes like, no, my hair is really greasy. Why? He's like, I was just wondering. I'm like, are you trying to tell me my hair is so greasy it looks wet? And he's like, no. And he's all,
but that was his first inclination when he walked in.
it was that greasy.
Was like, she's wet, so she must have showered.
And I was sitting in bed in a robe. No. I'm having a really down day.
It's so funny because I'm allowed to do those things anytime I want to for as long as I want to. But if Jerry even lays on the couch for 3 or 4 hours, I'm like, what are you doing?
Get up. Go mow the lawn.
I'm like, God, are you just going to sit there all day?
You know what? I think it is, honestly, because I don't do that to Daryl because he works
I know you do.
fucking hard.
I know.
Are you saying I do it?
No, I'm saying he works hard, and so you wouldn't.
I don't.
Yeah,
so
but Jerry does not.
So like whenever he goes, hey, I'm going to play Call of Duty or whatever, I'm like, you don't have to say it apologetically. Go do it. Honestly, it gives me more freedom to do whatever I want.
Because you're occupied. Yeah.
Go, because I love solitude.
Yeah.
When he does do it, when he's not telling me or whatever, I think what it is they choose the worst timing.
I know, right?
That's all it is. It's not that I don't want you to lay around or do whatever.
Right.
It's you pick literally the worst times to do it. Like, why are you doing it now of all the times?
Right.
It's so strange to me. They just go, you know what? This would be the most inconvenient time to do nothing. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I've told you all about how Jerry will suddenly want to do the dishes when I've just started cooking dinner.
Exactly.
And in our 50 square foot kitchen.
Your galley kitchen.
I'm like,
it's like we might as well be on a submarine. Get out of here.
This morning, first of all, he knows that I'm utterly exhausted. I worked 6 days this week. I didn't have a weekend. And so I normally, Sunday's the day that I'll kind of do a few things because I'm not as tired on Sunday. Yeah. So this morning I woke up, although I was just exhausted, I woke up and I was vacuuming and I was doing the dishes and I made breakfast for Jeff. I like to do that on Sunday mornings. So I was making like sausage and bacon and all that shit and just being rather productive at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, you know.
That's really early.
It was pretty early. Yeah. But so then he's sitting on the couch, watching the news. And I think at some point he comes in and he's like, well, I guess I'll go get gas for the lawnmower. I'm like, you think? Like I'm practically sweating for like the last hour. while you were showering and watching the news.
That's funny. I know.
He did. He went and got gas. It was funny. And then our lawn is so tiny that it takes maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he weed eatered and he blew. So he was out there for like 30 or 40 minutes.
He's come in just
Comes back in
spent.
just exhausted. Takes his shoes off. I'm like, well, I'm done for the day. I'm like, well, goddamn, it's 9:30. Fuck.
Retire.
Better have a beer.
Better retire, sir. You're working. You've been toiling. So the Olympics are like right around the corner.
Yay!
I cannot believe how quickly.
I'm so excited.
1 second I'm going, when are the trials going to start? God. And now
they're
it's like,
over.
We're in Paris. I'm like, oh my God, it's
I know.
happening. I freaking love the Olympics.
I do too.
It's such a great time to completely check out of reality.
It really is. And there's something different to watch every day.
I freaking love it. I'm like, I don't have to think about anything. I can just
Right.
watch these amazing athletes compete and win their award. And I'm so happy about it.
And it's so fun. And
Did you hear about the Japanese gymnast that got sent home?
No. Was it drugs?
No, I'll tell you. So it's a bit controversial.
Uh-oh.
So the Japanese government has incredibly strict standards on their
Yes.
athletes when they're representing the country.
Right.
So their quote unquote Simone Biles, who is set to probably come in and, be competitive. I don't know if she'd beat Simone Biles, but she's like their top gymnast.
Unless she screws up, but which happens once in a while.
So people were really excited about her coming in and competing, basically. Well, they sent her home. The Japanese team sent her home because she violated their code of conduct.
What'd she do?
She got caught smoking a cigarette.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me.
Nope.
God. They're like, you have ruined us.
Yeah.
You have shamed our nation.
They sent her home.
That's a damn shame.
Can you imagine?
No.
Although, if you know it, what are
Why
you
would
doing?
you do it? Why would you do it?
Why does anybody do anything, though, to get sent home?
I don't know. Why do these people go to Russia and then try to sneak vapes home with weed in them? I just don't understand. Like, why would you do that? I don't know. Honestly, it makes no sense to me.
Well, I meant the code of conduct. Like, if you know your team's code of conduct, why would you do that?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, when these athletes or people go to Russia and they do things they know are against the law that will get you thrown in prison, why do you do it?
I don't know about that.
And it's such a small...
Was she on the Olympic team when that happened?
It was the basketball girl. Who,
I know.
Brittany Griner.
I know.
Yes, she was. But I was just like, leave it there. Leave it in your hotel room if you're too scared and you don't know how to get rid of it.
I think she was in the airport.
She was trying to come home. Yeah, and she got caught. And so...
Anyway,
but she's not the first example. There's many, many examples of people doing that.
It's just crazy to me that Japan would do that over a cigarette.
Not that crazy. I mean, yeah.
I wonder if ever...
We wouldn't do that, but...
Well, I don't know. I don't know I don't even know what the code of conduct is for the Olympians.
Well, it's different based on the country.
I know.
So, I mean, and just...
I'm sure drugs are a no-no.
Russia also lets their athletes... Well, they're not called... They had to rename them something because they got banned from the Olympics for life.
And they did.
The Russian Republic something now.
I think some athletes tried to petition to participate.
But they just keep taking steroids.
But they were dirty.
Yeah, and then here's the thing that really bugs me about that is that they don't probably want to take them. They make them take them.
I know.
And they're like, can't we just compete like everybody else? Like, no, you will take these drugs because you must beat them. And they're like, I don't want to. So then they get caught and then they're like, well, now we don't even get to compete at all.
I know.
Was it worth it? Yeah.
Anyway, so there's a movie about there being a great white shark in the French River, the Seine. Oh. It came out on Netflix. It's like this giant.
What's it called?
I think it's called Shark.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. But apparently it's not great. But now I'm like, now I want to watch it.
Well, I'll watch it.
Hell yeah. It's been out for a while.
I watched the Meg 1, 2, and 3.
I like the Meg.
It's dumb, but I watch it.
Really? I don't think it's dumb. I think it's awesome.
Ian Zierling's in it.
He's in Meg 3?
I don't remember which one he's in.
Well, he's in Sharknadoes.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Sharknado.
And I've watched all of those too.
Yeah.
And I love them.
I have too.
I think they're great.
I do love them.
Speaking of Sharknado, Daryl and I saw Twisters on Friday.
I told Jeff about this. He's very excited.
It's so good.
He loves Twister.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but no. But
because we're going to go see it.
I kept waiting for there to be more of a tie-in with the original Twister.
Oh.
And there's only a slight tie-in.
Yeah.
There's no...
It's not Twister 2.
No, it's a completely different movie,
Okay.
but in a good way. In a good
Well,
way.
the fact that you put something positive on social media, I was thrilled.
Yeah, because Twister.
So I'm like, okay, good. It's not stupid. Or
First of all, I love Twister.
so do I.
A lot, and it's not just because of Bill Paxton, although he's a big part of it. They do have their cutie pie for this film. I can't remember his name right now, but he's everywhere.
Gerald something.
Yeah, he's everywhere right now, and he's having a banner year.
Right.
And he looks really good in a cowboy hat.
Oh, good.
And a white t-shirt.
Okay, I'm so excited.
Yeah, he's super cute. Although I'm not a fan of his eyes.
Oh.
They're a little snake-like. They're very slit-like. They're slits. And they definitely give him his hottie shot.
Okay, of course.
But yeah, it's really
Bill
good.
didn't have any hottie shots in Twister.
He didn't need them.
No, he didn't.
He just exuded hot.
He
was
does.
just a handsome
He's
man.
one of those guys that like doesn't have to be sexy necessarily to be.
But he just is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because they never show him with his shirt off or anything. It's not like that.
No.
Yeah,
I
but
don't remember him not having a shirt on. You're right.
never.
Not even during the windy times of the movie. His shirt
No.
stayed on.
Yeah, there
Interesting.
really wasn't
Nothing,
any.
nobody's shirts got sucked off.
No,
Like
No.
when Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton
and they
at the
should have
end,
if you really
when
think
they were
about it.
they were being tied when they tied themselves to those poles and they were being
should have
sucked
been
in there.
buck
They should have
naked.
been nude.
Yeah, they should have been.
Why didn't they show at least have a sock fly off?
I mean, cows were flying through the air, semi trucks, and yet they were fully clothed when everything
They're
was
like
over.
looking at their boots in the middle of a tornado, and they're just like, "Look, we're still dressed." It's like, why? You should be naked.
She was wearing like a white tank top. Yeah,
Everything.
that should have been gone.
and they were
Yeah.
clean. They weren't even filthy.
Well, they always made her look a little dirty. I never understood that.
Maybe
Remember,
they didn't like
she
her.
had to shower, and
Maybe Steven Spielberg didn't like
she's
her.
a woman. Every time
like, make her be
I think
dirty.
everything's a woman. I'm like, it's because she was a woman.
Maybe
You never know.
you never know.
Like,
with
is this
this.
a Harvey Weinstein movie?
Ew, no, it was a Steven Spielberg
I'm
movie.
kidding.
But yeah,
Twister?
yeah.
Oh God,
That's why it's so good.
No, duh. When you said that, I was like, well, of course.
And he did this
It's
one
great.
too.
Oh, good. Okay,
that's
well,
why
I'm
it's
really
good.
excited. I'm really excited.
But what I like about it is there's the things that you liked about Twister, the action parts, are also a part of this one. They didn't break the formula. They didn't try to be all weird about it.
But they didn't make it like the second Top Gun, where it was literally like the same goddamn movie with young actors.
No. It was different, but what I just really liked the act. There was a lot more tornadoes.
Okay, good.
For starters.
Yeah.
And there's a shit ton of actors in it, and
Oh, okay.
and you'll recognize
That you
all of
know.
them, and you're like, I've seen her somewhere. I've
Yeah.
seen him somewhere. And I even turned to Daryl. I'm like, who was that guy? And he goes, he's in Hamilton, Jamie. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they're these cool random
Yeah.
actors that you go, wow, they have a really cool face. Like
And
they're
years
really
from
good.
now, when we're in our 80s, they'll be the Clint Eastwoods of Hollywood.
Maybe.
Speaking of Clint Eastwood, can you believe
No.
his partner died at 61 years old and this man is still alive?
He's got to be a bad person.
He's 94. I know.
He's got to be a bad person.
I was
right?
just so like, you've got to be kidding me.
61, gone.
I was like, and they're not saying why she died. So
She could have had an illness.
Right.
She could have had a heart attack.
Normally when they have an illness, they'll be like, she died after a brief battle with cancer, or she died of, whatever, but they're literally not saying. So
When I read that, I thought when it said partner, longtime partner, I'm like, business partner?
no.
For a long
Because he's
time.
got so much money, he's not going to marry
For
anyone.
a long time, I was like, "Oh, how sad is business partner?" For like a day.
You thought
It didn't even occur to me that a 61-year-old woman would remotely want to touch a 94-year-old penis.
I mean,
like it didn't even occur to me.
Men that age aren't having sex anymore.
It didn't occur to me.
She doesn't even have to do the obligatory blowjob.
Why? But why did I not look at it
I don't know.
in a romantic way?
I knew.
So then the next
and
day,
they weren't together that long, by the way.
Oh, I don't know.
It was
I know
10 years.
Oh, okay. So
Which I guess is a long time, but
for a 50-year-old woman, I mean,
I'm thinking Goldie
wouldn't
Hawn,
date a
Kurt
80-year-old.
Russell, long time,
30 years,
not
40 years,
not
yeah.
10 years. Being,
So-
they got together in 2016. I'm like, ugh.
the next day, it finally occurred to me that, oh, this was like his romantic partner.
Yeah. And did you see what he wrote about, what he said about her? She was
Finally.
lovely and she will be greatly missed. I'm like, wow, that was really
How
profound.
profound. You know what?
He probably can't believe he's still alive.
I mean, I don't know. Is he still staring at chairs? I have no idea. Like, what are we doing? I don't know who he is anymore. Like,
I think
he's phenomenal.
Still making movies. Honestly.
He is. He did finish a movie, actually, not that long ago.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that has said, if I stop working out, I'll be dead.
That's fine.
So I just keep making movies.
Maybe that's the key to life.
It could be,
Just
but
keep working till you die.
or a whole shit ton of money. I mean,
that could help.
That doesn't hurt.
Maybe.
They have
but
doctors and things.
You know what? Bob Newhart died at 91, I think.
He was pretty old too.
I freaking loved Bob Newhart.
He was so funny.
He was so funny.
Yeah.
And I know that, and you know, and some people are just like always funny.
Yeah.
I was listening to Bill Burr. I love his podcast.
Me too.
And he met Bob Newhart once, and he said I was with, of all people, he was really good friends with Bob Saget.
Uh-huh.
And they were at a party in Burbank or whatever. And he said, hey, do you want to meet Bob Newhart? He goes, no. He's not going to even know who I am. And he goes, oh, you'd be surprised. He keeps up with the times. And he's like, really? He goes, yeah. So he goes, he introduces me to Bob Newhart. He goes, hey, this is Bill Burr. He goes, oh, I know who you are. I've seen some of your stuff. And he goes, and that was like 8 years ago.
Wow.
This is what he said. He goes, I believe the key to life is this. He goes, I see people who are young, like me, like in their 50s or whatever, and they're already bitching about how it's not the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Like it was better in the old days, right?
Okay.
Right? And he goes, it was only better in the old days because you were a kid.
Yeah.
He goes, if you stop growing and if you stop learning or embracing the new, he goes, you're gonna be old
for sure,
way too young. He's like, but guys like Bob Newhart, he goes, I met Frankie Valli on a plane once. He goes, he was in his 80s, popped up out of his seat like he was my
I'm
age.
telling you, that's so true, and it's one of the things I hate about
who
old
I
people.
was.
Not all old people, but those kind of old people.
Yeah,
that are always talking about how terrible it is nowadays, and how we don't know what real fun was, and like we don't know what true talent is really like.
Right.
And I'm like, shut up. I'm like, you know what? I agree with you that there has been really talented people in the industry for whatever it is, whether it's music or acting or whatever, but they're still great people. We don't stop making great people.
No.
Taste changes as you mature.
That's fine.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that what the younger generations are listening to now or enjoying now is bad.
I completely agree with you. So the one thing
that's why I hate you people who hate Taylor Swift. I hate you.
Look at you, made my computer turn on.
Oh God,
you were so loud.
Sorry.
Anyway,
no, it really, really pisses me off. I had someone tell me, just really quick, I had someone tell me that she's like, well, I don't think you look your age. And I'm like, thanks. You know, I mean, is that a compliment? Anyway, go ahead.
I guess it's a compliment, but I had an experience like that as well. I'll tell you. Anyway,
it immediately makes you feel like you're.
I'm at the grocery store and Daryl's traveling, so I run to the store, and it was the one day it wasn't 120.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if I want,
it was
food,
like 98 that day.
I'm like, I better go now because it's going to be 115 tomorrow, so I
Right.
better go today. So I went to the grocery store, which I hate more than anything, and I'm standing in line, and this new checker, you can tell they're new because their name tag is like
shiny.
Written. Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's not like
even
everybody
a permanent
else's
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So she goes, hi, ma'am. And I go, hello. And I'm just like, I ignore the first one.
Yeah.
Because everybody's ma'am, right?
I say it.
She called me ma'am 3 goddamn times.
Oh, God damn it.
And by the second one, I'm like, my ears start to perk and I'm like, okay, I know I'm not in my 20s anymore, but I didn't think that a ma'am was necessary for every interaction that I'm having with
she's
her.
from the South.
No, she was not Southern. Then a guy that I know who's been there for 100 years, he came over. He's like, hey. And I mean, he's younger than me too. Everybody is younger than me now.
Everybody's younger than me.
He's like, hey. And so he's like, how have you been? I'm like, oh, I'm good. So she hands me a receipt and calls me ma'am again. And I turn to him, I go, she calls me ma'am one more time, Ryan. And he starts laughing. And so I walked out feeling very decrepit. But I was telling Daryl about it. And I said, but the thing is that the grocery store we go to is actually surrounded by a senior citizen community.
So they're probably...
So that's kind of the standard.
Well, I tell you what.
And so I'm like, it's fine.
It's fine. And
it's safe.
But here's the thing I will say. You really should, unless you're so young that you're just a dipshit and you don't know when to read the room. But I was in a meeting the other day with a woman who was probably late 70s. Now she's a lawyer and she's an arbitrator and she's very smart, articulate, sharp as a tack. But because I understand her generation, people like that appreciate being respected in a certain way.
Of course.
And so we were having this very professional conversation and I was not calling, sometimes I was calling her, she asked me to call her by her first name.
Oh, that's nice.
The first couple times I met her, she's like, look, I'm just kind of informal. You don't have to call me Mrs. Harris or whatever it was.
Okay.
And so I tried to do that. But at one point we were having a conversation that was, I was trying to get her to take my side. Let's be honest. And so I reverted to this whole, Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like, as she's asking me clarifying questions. Like, she's like trying to understand. Like, please help me understand what you're trying to say and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, yes, ma'am. And it was just like, she was very responsive to that. Well, so it really depends on the person. She was not like this young lady calling me ma'am, you know.
Well,
but she's also probably 77.
Nobody likes being called ma'am.
Really?
I mean, I don't.
Well, maybe that's because we're in our 50s.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I went and I met a friend when I went to Chicago with Daryl.
Yeah.
And she didn't know how old I was. And she's a lot younger than me.
Oh, okay.
But she's a mom and everything.
Yeah.
But we were driving and I said, well, I'm like literally so old. And she goes, well, how old are you? And I told her. Question. And I told her, because I don't go around like it, but I mean, I'm like, whatever. But I knew,
surprised.
But she's so much younger. And I was like,
do you really know how old I am?
So I told her and she goes, she goes, beat. Well, that's not that old.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay.
I remember when I used to think 35 was old, but
yeah. Oh yeah. I remember when 40 was old and I was like, my life's over.
I hate people asking me that question. I really, really do. Yeah. So this
doesn't matter anymore.
Somebody at my work who's in her late 30s, early 40s, she kept saying like we were the same age and everything.
I hate it. You know what? I hate it when women do that to me.
And I'm like, we're not the same age. You know it and I know it.
I also hate it when women do that where they group you into their weight class.
Yeah,
that's happened to me, and I'm like, listen, I have eyes,
right?
We're not in the same weight class, and I appreciate what you're trying to say, collectively.
Like we're all the same. We all, but
you and I are not, in the same.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I feel you,
but I don't say anything.
I try not to do that too, though, with other women. But sometimes, the other thing is like. I and you too, we have such negative images of our bodies and the way we look. So I think sometimes we think we look way worse than we do, and people don't see it, and they're honestly puzzled by your
Daryl
because a lot of times I'll say that to my two best friends at I'll be like, well, you know what, we're all chubby, and they're like, you always talk like you're a whale. They're like, you're not. Like, look at you compared to us, like, aww. And they're very, because we love each other and it doesn't matter what we look like, but I'm like, no, I'm fat. I am huge, and they're just like, I don't fucking see it. Like, shut up.
I know it's a very difficult place.
But when I look in the mirror, I see Grimace.
Oh, you're not Grimace, but I
know what I mean.
Yes, yeah. Of course I do. Are you kidding? I told Daryl, I'm like, I think I look pregnant. He's like, shut up.
I was laying on my back in bed the other day and I was like, because we have mirrored closet doors, obviously. Oh, why does everybody have those? But anyway,
I would hang sheets up.
Do you don't have them in your room?
Mirrored closets?
Oh no, you have walk-in, right? No. So I have a mirrored closet door. Yes. So I was like, dare I look to the left and see myself laying flat on this bed? Will I have a protrusion on my stomach?
Did you do it?
Flat? Yes, I did it. And of course I did. It was sticking up.
What?
It wasn't like a pregnant belly. No, but it wasn't flat.
Well, you have organs.
Well, I didn't used to, apparently, because I used to be able to lay on my back and there would be nothing. I'd be flat. But anyway, I digress.
Anyway, well, thank you so much for listening to our rant about our big fat butts and all of our oldness.
It's a daily. Wow, God, is this a geriatric show?
Welcome to the ugly truth.
What'd you say?
I will say this on this final note. I did tell my children. Oh, okay. Well, if we're going old, I'm going to tell you. No
one wants to hear this. They've already stopped listening.
No, they haven't. I believe it. I believe. No. Okay. So
don't run from the Lord. Did you see my TikTok the other day? That was with the turkey chasing after the other turkey.
Yes.
He's like, Jesus loves you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to tell you my awkward moment on the next show. But since I turned 40, every once in a while I have sciatic pain.
It's back pain, right?
It's not back. It's like,
is it hip?
It goes down your ass.
Yeah.
Down to your
mom has it.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know if she has it anymore.
Yeah, she fell in a bar and ever since then she's
I think that was her tumor that did that.
Oh, it could have been.
Yeah, because she's had that for years.
Well, you know what? I forgot that happened 40 years later. Right. But at the time, she always thought she had a sciatic nerve problem.
No, sciatic doesn't give you paralysis, but it gives you a shit ton of pain.
Right.
So,
and you know what? You told us about this not too long ago on the show.
So I had an issue a long time ago, and then I hadn't had any issues, and then I work out voraciously, and so I can cause pain to myself. Well, February I did. And then 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, that's when you couldn't walk and stuff, I remember.
Right, 2 days ago it happened again.
Oh no.
I was making an egg. And I turned weird and my butt goes, no! And I was like,
did you fall down?
No, we don't fall. It's just
well, I didn't know if you like
painful.
crippled you in pain too, where you crumpled
But it's
to
just
the floor.
it's just really painful, and it gets worse and worse and worse because what it is spasms.
Yeah.
It's just a spasm. And so I'm like, oh no, I had dinner planned, all this stuff. And so the girls were over for some reason. Oh, because we're helping them with the car. And so Mackenzie and Malia were over yesterday, and I said, you guys, I just want you to know, because I was struggling to get up out of the couch. I want you to know that if I ever need a walker, you have full permission to make fun of me until the day I die.
Oh, God.
I am not kidding. I'm like, you will roast me daily.
No.
Please.
They wouldn't.
And they're all right. I'm like, you have to keep it light, man.
Yeah,
I'm like, because
right.
I can't take it.
You're not going to be in a walker.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
You just felt old at
Stephanie,
that moment.
there's nothing worse than
Oh my
having
God.
some kind of leg injury.
I pray. Well, I mean, I think it's because I'm premenopausal, but like my joints and my knees are really like, I feel like the iron, what's that guy's name? The Tin Man. Like I want to squirt oil in my legs before I stand up, and I can't sit for very long. And then I go to get up and I'm like, oh, like they crink and they hurt. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is my life. This is my fucking
you have
life.
to start doing lunges.
Seriously.
Get that core work.
Something.
Yeah.
Something's gotta
Anyway,
change.
all right, everyone. We'll talk to you next week with more old lady tales.
Right?
Bye.
Bye.